All right, action. Here we go. Strategy Cafe, the Pykthos Strategy Cafe. I believe this is for our fourth time doing this. So episode four, if we're calling it a podcast slash YouTube, etc. This is
Yeah.
where Timothy and I are here to help you guys out. So most of the people in the audience on our Zoom call live are hypnotists, hypnotherapists, coaches, anything. Could be financial planner for all, could be anything. But people who help people. And our objective here is to help you guys deconstruct whatever's holding you back, ask you some empowering questions that are useful, unlock some resources, and point you guys in the right direction. So that at the end of a call like this, if you're brave enough to ask questions, you'll come here and you'll get something that will get you moving. Just kick that ball down the field. Discover one or two new little things that you hadn't thought of before. Through the power of working with smart people, that's the whole point. Now, we do run the Pykthos Mastermind, which includes all of the tools that you would need to run an online business, but this is not a marketing pitch for the Pykthos Mastermind. It's just something we want you to know exists, so that if you should feel the desire to dive deeper, you can always ask questions to us offline or whatever. You can email Timothy and I both at team@pykthos.com. That's pykthos.com. And that's it for the big long intro. Timothy.
Oh man. Yeah. Thank you so much, Chris. And thank you to everybody who is here. I made sure to put those links that are super important inside the chat. And wherever we post this, we'll make sure in the description or something like that, we'll have those links as well. You're very welcome, Jane. So we've got people from all over the world. And one thing that I think is interesting is that no matter where you are in the world, and Chris, we can kind of riff on this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is for certain, people, humanity is just, they are absolutely dying for feeling like they're belonging, to feel like there is a sense of community. They want to feel like they are engaging in some way, shape, or form with people who are similar to them. And I
Yeah.
think, from COVID and everything else, we found more and more that nobody likes doing anything in their space alone. We are social creatures. And I think 2026, and I'll pass this back to you to kind of get this started, Chris. I think 2026 is the year of absolute
Mm-hmm.
authenticity. AI is running rampant. Nobody knows what is real or not anymore. But we
Oh
know
my
for
God.
certain that when we show up on these video calls, this is as real as it gets. This
At
is
least we think it is.
at
Yeah.
least we think
Oh,
it is. Yeah.
yeah. I think you're right. I was thinking a lot. Oh man. So Timothy and I got back from Nashville about a week ago now.
Woo.
Actually, yeah, because I got back Friday at, well,
2:30
technically
in the
Saturday
morning.
morning. I was delayed over 24 hours because of a massive snowstorm. But we spent the prior week in Nashville with a bunch of entrepreneurs that we like hanging out with about three, four times a year and discussing all kinds of stuff like this that we usually bring back to these calls. And yeah, I mean, the recurring theme, AI is just getting better and more amazing, but people aren't going away. And I was thinking a lot about the Tony Robbins six human needs model.
Oh yeah.
How many of you guys follow that model? I mean, I remember in my 20s, yeah, Danielle and others. I think it's a really cool model, right? So let's see if I can remember it, challenge myself here. So we all need to feel some sense of certainty. We
Certainty.
need uncertainty or variety, you can call it, which is basically if everything's certain all the time, you're freaking bored out of your mind, right? You need some
Yep.
variety. You need significance.
Significance.
You
Yep.
need connection, which is the one you were just speaking to,
Yes.
Timothy. Like you need love and connection.
Yep.
And then we need, of course, the
Growth.
two remaining ones are growth and contribution. And that
Yeah.
contribution is sort of, you get Tony Robbins talking about having this.
Society.
He feeds like, billions of people over years and stuff. But he did an interview with Alex Hormozy recently, by the way, which I highly recommend listening to. It's on YouTube and it's also on the Hormozy podcast. Talking a lot about just the higher purpose, right? That sort of spiritual stuff. That's what the contribution really comes to. But growth is about learning new things. And so if I think about like doing a call like this, what do I get? Oh my God, it ticks so many boxes, right? Because I feel significant in some sense because hopefully people are getting some value, so they look up to the education that I might be able to share. I feel contribution because I'm sharing, knowledge with people. I feel growth because I'm going to learn something because people are going to ask questions. Somebody's going to say something smart and I'm going to go, "Oh my God, I learned." I feel variety because you never know what's going to happen. We're doing this basically live with you all. So it's kind of a cool thing, right, to do stuff like that. And yeah, man, AI, even though it is coming hard and fast, I think there's nothing that's going to replace people. And it is kind of sad, though, that the number one use of AI apparently these days is companionship. Bored
Yep.
people will go, and that's good. I suppose it's better than being completely free of other humans. So if you had total solitude, which would
Mhm.
depress you, versus at least you had an AI. Okay, great. But man, isn't it great to have real people? And we're all in the business of working with other people, and that's not going to change. So I really do think it's going to be important to use AI, but not abuse it to the point where you're just taking the freaking humanity out of what you do. And so, hence, showing up on camera. We talk about this in the Pykthos Mastermind often. Being that true, authentic self is going to matter so much. We're
Yep.
ranting on that. Just as this is our take, we definitely want to have you guys in the chat or in the
Hmm.
Zoom hand raise feature. Just like if you want to ask questions, please do let us know, and we'll keep
Yeah.
our eyes on the chat. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's how what you said, Timothy, tied into what I was thinking.
Yeah. I think when it comes to all of us in the people helping space, just show of hands of people here in the audience, how many of you guys are kind of afraid of AI? Like maybe you don't even use it.
Okay, we
Yeah.
got Nancy
Okay.
sort of raising her hand. Yeah, and that's
Or yeah,
yeah,
but so then for everyone else, how many of you are actively using AI in some way, shape, or form in your everyday life? Yeah.
yeah, good
Yeah.
bunch of hands going up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
those of you who have your camera on. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And so for those of you who didn't answer either question, how many
go to
of
the
you are
chat.
uncertain? Yeah.
Or
Like
you leave. Yeah, if you want to type something in the chat, we'll just give you a couple of moments to do that, and then we'll sort of talk about it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I definitely think now that we kind of have a pretty good balance, right? I think if you're uncertain and you're not even sure where to go, there are plenty of AI companies out there that have free accounts that you can just make and then
mhm.
give it a test. OpenAI.com, what is traditionally known as ChatGPT, that's good. Claude has its own like free-ish version. You can go to Perplexity, which is an AI that's only built primarily for research. So if you are like in our use case, a great use of multiple different AIs, and you can do it all for free, would be go to Perplexity and have it research your specific niche in the whatever industry you're in. So
Oh, sure.
maybe for example, like one of the people in the mastermind we attended with last week, his name's Charles, and he's a fractional CFO, and I had no idea what that was. But you can go to Perplexity and say, I need the deep research from 2025 on of what a fractional CFO is and how it could benefit me. And Perplexity, while it's running and doing its thing, it'll generate this report. So then you could take that report and put it into ChatGPT and say something like, based on this report, can you help me craft the copy or content for a social media video or a
What are the
video
core
like
problems that
script?
my potential customers are
Yeah.
having? Yeah,
Yeah. And so that's not you using AI to like write a book for me, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
using AI in the way that I think we're probably going to see more of in 2026 and beyond, which is this idea of AI emerging
Hmm.
agents. So they are literal employees that automate processes for you so that you don't have to worry about doing that type of manual labor. And instead, you can focus on doing the things that you love.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm just looking at the chat here and I'm seeing Jane's comment, which is I heard AI companionship agrees with you all the time. So you don't exercise discussion and seeing other people's points of view and ends up making you not an ideal human being. I definitely agree with that in many ways. I laugh because some of the AI tools that I'll use, I'll ask it an idea and it'll say, "Oh, that's brilliant, Chris. That's
Like,
really high level CEO thinking, Chris." And a friend of ours, Mercer in the industry, he said AI is very much like a mirror a lot of the time. And so, yeah, you definitely want to be asking it to kick your butt and push back against you. If you tell it to do these kinds of things, it will. Um, anyway,
yeah.
yeah, we kind of get into this rat hole on AI a lot because there's so many use cases for it these days. But I'll give you
Yeah.
another one. Um, when we were in Nashville, one of our friends, he runs an ad agency. We mentioned any of you guys who are on the Pick Those Mastermind calls on Wednesdays, you might have heard us talk about this. So I'll do a brief version. Our friend Mitch, he runs an ad agency and he taught a strategy to do some really cool stuff with AI. I won't get into it, but it's really ridiculously awesome and automates a bunch of cool stuff. And so the feedback was, why'd you just design yourself out of a job, buddy? Because if anyone does this, like they don't need to hire you. And he goes, well, we're going to be out of a job this year anyway. In other words, he was so strongly committed to the idea that you won't need an ad agency in the future, in the very near future, that he was willing to just like teach how you can do it essentially with AI. What that led us to realize is a lot of us people helpers, hypnotists, coaches, executive coaches, whatever, we think that paid advertising is fairly complicated to learn, and it used to be quite complicated to learn. And I think last week we had a no, 2 weeks ago, AI. We do this every second week. I keep forgetting. The in episode three, edition three, we did a lot of discussion around AI being a leveler of the playing field. And this was another good example. So, like 2 weeks ago, we talked about how web design, you don't need to be a guru anymore. You can just say, like, hey, I want something that looks kind of like this, but for my market, and AI will design beautiful stuff for you. And you don't need to spend a lot of money on a freelancer. It's very done quickly. And the same kind of thing is going to be true with advertising. So, how many of you guys are actively running any kind of paid ads now? Just by show of hands, I'd be curious. Okay, so I wasn't expecting to see many hands, which is good. Um, I predicted accurately. How many of you would like to run paid traffic? As if you knew it was going to contribute to your business, you'd like to. Now, keep your hands up if the idea of running the ad seems intimidating, like it's a complicated. Yeah, and most of the hands are staying up. Okay, cool. That's exactly where, I mean, I've been there. It does seem kind of intimidating right now. Usually around the idea of how do I set them up? How do I know how to target the right audience and press all the right buttons to make sure my ads are going to the right people? And the cool thing is because these ad platforms are using AI on the back end, they're going to kind of take those buttons away from you because it's like you shouldn't touch them. You're just going to break things. Just it's like don't touch it. Um,
It's poison.
yeah, don't touch it.
Don't eat
So all you'll need to
it.
do if you follow great processes of like knowing what your niche market is, knowing how you go from a person discovering that you exist to them being a customer, which is that customer value journey that we talk about a lot of the time. That's going to be so important because if you do it right, you go, okay, I am a hypnotherapist and I focus on people who are mid-level management that are dealing with anxiety stemming from a work-life balance issue, and maybe they have young family, like whatever your niche is. I'm just making something up that's sort of specific. If you know how that person talks and thinks about their problems and what they want their desired state to be, what they see their present state is, what their beliefs are, if you can document that, boom, and you have a document, oh my goodness, now you can use AI tools to figure out how you should create ads. Then all you got to do is create the actual content. And then the ad platforms will figure out who to show it to, and you won't have to do that, which will make like so if you knew that all you had to do was create a good ad and or just content. Like don't think of the aim as an ad necessarily. If you pay to get good content in front of people, which makes sense, right? You're just buying eyeballs that are going to be relevant. And the AI knows what you're saying in your ad, what content you're delivering, because it can hear you, it can transcribe your video, and it can even read tone into the audio and stuff like that. It can understand the content. It can figure out how to show it to the people that probably are going to resonate with that. So if all you had to do was put the right message in front of and didn't have to think about how to get the right people, just the message, would that still seem really intimidating to you? If anybody wants to put their hand up. Yeah, it would actually seem like way easier, right? So this is a nice thing where it's leveling the playing field.
Yep. Yeah. I definitely think that reframe of AI is scary into, well, AI is letting me do things that I would need to hire an absolute professional to do. That reframe really helps a lot of people.
Hmm.
And so with that in mind, I think now would probably be the time for us to start getting some questions from the audience because we definitely have some people who have some questions around AI. And also, we do have some questions around marketing and business stuff in general. So we have John. Thank you for being here, John. Hello, hello, friend. And then we also
Hello.
have Danielle Knight who wanted to ask some questions. So John first, and then Danielle.
Yeah, and you don't have to ask about AI. That's just
Yeah, yeah,
seems to
yeah.
be a really popular topic.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead, John.
yeah.
It's good to see
Sure.
you.
Thanks. Good to see you all too. Hi, everyone. I'm John. So, I was wondering whether either of you have used AI also for market segmentation or competitor analysis. So even before defining the niche, just to get an idea about what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I've done that quite a bit in my own personal business. For any of you guys who don't know, on the side, as a part-time thing, I run something called Enter the Loop, which is a conversational framework for helping people make changes pretty fast. And I had to basically do market research on conversational hypnosis in general. There's a lot of people out there doing it. Mike Mindell hypnosis, one of the top, like if you go to ChatGPT and you say, what is the best place to learn hypnosis from? Mike Mindell hypnosis is number one, no, numero uno, which is amazing. And that's because we've done a really good job of something called AEO, which is
Mhm. It was
answer engine.
accidental in our case,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, yeah, answer engine optimization. And that's basically SEO was search engine optimization, and people used to have to create SEO, really good SEO content like blog posts and stuff in order to get ranked on Google. And Google has various pages, page one, page two, page three, etc. You'd want to be on page one in the old ways, right? But now with AI, it's I want to be the thing AI tells other people to look at, which Mike Mandel Hypnosis is really great at. But then there were some companies up there that I'd never heard of. And so in my deep research, I realized that if we look at just conversational hypnosis, there are tons and tons. But this is why I think it's really important to have a niche. Because if you just say, find me the best conversational hypnosis company out there, it's going to give you everything. But
Hmm.
if you focus down and say, I only want it for this specific niche or anything like that, then it's going to give you much better results. Chris.
I was thinking, like John, yeah, I think what you said there makes tons of sense, and you can use it to do kind of micro marketing research like that. But I wasn't sure what you meant, John, if you mean more, thinking back to MBA school, the traditional, how large is the market for such and such, and
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
expected to be the CAGR, and who are the main competitors, and where are the blind spots, and how might somebody break into that market and create a moat and all that. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like simplified version of that.
Yeah, I think you can absolutely use it for that. In fact, some of the tools have, well, I guess all of the tools now have deep research methods, right,
Yeah.
Timothy?
Yeah.
When we were brainstorming around I won't go into depth here, guys, because we haven't launched anything yet, but when it came to the newsletter market, Timothy, what
Mhm.
tool did you use to do a deep dive report? Because I know I think it was Claude, and
So I typically usually do like three passes. So I'll use
Mhm.
like Perplexity, Claude, and ChatGPT, right? Those are
Yeah,
like the top three that I use the most. And then I just correlate, or I'm sorry, I collate all of the information and I give another GPT all three documents because you can get it in
assimilate.
PDF.
Yeah.
Yep. And then go, give me the best output. What do you
Yeah.
got?
And so when you did that, I can't remember what doesn't matter. Let's say you use ChatGPT's deep
Mhm.
research function, and there's some buttons to
Right.
push. You just select a drop down and say do deep research, and you give it a decent prompt. But they're built for that. Like they will actually go out in deep research mode, and you can say, hey, I need to know all about such and such a market. I need to know how big is it? I need to know who the biggest competitors are. I need to know what makes each competitor differentiate from the others. How price sensitive are the buyers? Like, just your typical business school kind of questions. And my favorite cheat code for all the AI tools these days is use the microphone button where you just push the button and instead of having to type all of this, do you do that, John? Do you ever, or is
I've
that
never
news to
done
you?
that. No, it's very
Okay.
interesting.
ChatGPT has it built in. Grok has it built in, although Grok is, I'm not sure how good it is for that. But Claude does not. But Timothy was reminding me, even though it doesn't have a microphone button, your computer does have a dictate button. Can't remember
Yeah.
what it is on a Mac, but
On a Mac, you double tap control
right.
and it pops up.
So
It's
control,
dictation.
control, and then when you talk into your microphone, it'll like turn that into words, right?
Yep.
But I love that because in ChatGPT land, I never type to it, especially on my phone because I
Mhm.
fat finger everything. But I'll just like I do. I do. This is a great way. My whole point though is this is how you can prompt really, really well because the more context you give it, the better results you'll get. So if you wanted to say all the stuff that you would say and you don't have to type it, you just click the microphone button and just start talking. And you could go for 3, 4, 5 minutes if you want. Give it everything that you care about. And then you might even finish by saying, and don't go do the research yet. Like, have a dialogue with me to flesh out if you've gotten everything from me that you think you need, and I'll let you know when to actually go do the research. And then it will prompt you back and forth, and you can prompt it and you can say, all right, awesome. I think we're ready. Go do the research. And how long did it take to create the deep dive? Because it goes and searches the internet all over.
Yeah.
It pulls Reddit threads, it pulls, clinical studies, whatever. And probably within a half an hour, it gives you an output.
Yeah, more like fifteen
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah, it was super fast.
So pick a project that you think you want to get a lot of deep dive data on and use deep research mode. It's amazing.
Super, super. Glad to hear it. Thanks.
All right.
You're welcome,
Uh,
John. Thanks for your question.
yeah,
All right.
the AEO stuff was interesting that you mentioned, and so I'll just riff on this for a second, and then we're going to who's next?
Danielle.
Danielle. Answer engine optimization is another one of these interesting, like leveling of the playing field things. Because, how many of you a year ago thought, okay, I'm going to put a website out there and I need to SEO that sucker so I get traffic? We were hearing a lot of people, I need to SEO. And I think that's sort of falling away because no one really is going to Google anymore and saying, like, I need to find a dentist near me or whatever. They just go to ChatGPT and they say, hey, are there any dentists near me? And ChatGPT goes, oh, yeah. Yeah, you live in Port Perry. There's a Wave Dental at such and such. You want more information? Yes, I do. Wait. So there's a whole new field here of making sure your business is optimized so that the GPTs and stuff know that you exist. So that's a cool thing. And that's when my
Mhm.
friend Mitch said, hey, I know my ad agency is toast this year. He started an AEO agency because he knows that his other agency's toast, or
Yep.
he thinks it is. So, yeah, the level of
Mhm.
like we're all starting from scratch here, which is great news. Okay, let's go to
Yep.
Danielle.
Yeah, yeah. And really quick, Daniel, before you say something, just on the AEO front, if any of you guys are ever confused about what any of this stuff is, you can do what's called meta prompting, where you just ask the AI what to do. So you, instead of saying, "Oh, I need to help AEO my website," you could just say, "Hey, can you look at my website and tell me if I am found on ChatGPT?" Use very generic terms, and it'll go, "Oh no, you need to do blah blah blah." So then you can simply say, "Can you tell me what to do?" Chris does that all the time with stuff that he's not sure of, and I do
Break it
too.
down for me. Explain it
Yeah.
to me like I'm five. Yeah.
Explain it to me like I'm five, and it does a great job. So remember to do that meta analysis if necessary. All right,
Yes.
Danielle.
Hello, thank you for taking a question.
Hello.
Chris, I've spoken to you about this slightly before, but
Mhm.
now, like with AI coming in, I talked to you at HypnoThoughts Live this summer, and then I was on another call where we chatted about this a little bit. I am not afraid of AI. I think that AI is incredibly wonderful, and I actually love it.
Yeah.
I do struggle with the climate impacts of it. One of my huge, like, personal things is climate change and just being aware of that. So I don't really know if it's a question, but I do struggle with that aspect of it and like seeing the climate
Mhm.
impacts and how to use it. But then that ties into my marketing question that I have. I started my business in 2023, and initially I was just doing intuitive readings. So, like tarot, angel, oracle, mediumship readings.
Mhm.
Throughout that time, hypnosis has been something that's just been incredibly impactful in my own healing. So, that is my most recent service that I offer. To network my business, I have just gone out and done in-person events. So I will like pay for a booth at an event and I will just network, talk to people,
Mhm.
market, I'll do live readings there. I got certified with MMHA last January. And of course, I've had hypnosis clients come in, but I find that is what I'm getting the least interaction on when I'm at these public events. And it's also the thing that I have the least clients in. But I would love if hypnosis was more of what I'm doing. And
Mhm.
so I definitely have thought about, chatting with AI and trying to figure out a plan on how to do something at a market that can pull people in specifically for hypnosis and not just the reading side of things. But I would also love to hear your guys' perspective on I mean, either ways I could use AI to make a plan to do that. I would love to have like 15 clients a week doing hypnosis. Or if
Okay.
you guys have any ideas of things that you would recommend I just do off the bat at an in-person event to get people converted from seeing my booth to paying customers.
Okay, Timothy, you know that Canvas slide deck that we pulled up? We should probably grab that so that we can screen share. But I was thinking, that slide we made, Gemini made for us with the problem aware, that whole
Mhm.
spectrum. We should screen share that just for a moment if we can. And I don't know where it is on my screen. So if you happen to find it while I'm ranting here, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
My
rant away in the rantery.
here's my thinking. So Danielle, generally, if people aren't coming to you for hypnosis specifically, then you have to just sort of think in your own mind. Hypnosis is a tool that can help somebody solve a problem. There's many tools that can help solve problems, but you have to start with what's their problem and what do they want to have happen in their life, and then start educating them on different ways that you can help them solve that problem. Now, you might educate them with multiple tools, like I can combine X and Y and Z together to give you a special sauce that gets you this result faster, better, more permanent, whatever, lower cost. Usually people are going to want just reliable and fast results. So that's kind of what they want, right? So if the things that you're doing, and hypnosis being one of them, will get them towards that result that they want, they don't care about the tool. They care about the transformation. So I wouldn't even necessarily be thinking so much about, I want hypnosis clients. I'd be thinking, how can I package what I do? And whether or not they even identify it as hypnosis, kind of who cares?
Yeah.
You could use the language. It's totally, unless you think your audience is going to be afraid of it, but I don't think they will be based on what you
Yeah.
described. I would come up with basically a way to pitch what I do as involving these modalities, hypnosis being one of them, such that sell the transformation. That's the
Oh,
most
that's
important thing.
such a good idea. And you're not the first person that's told me that. I've had multiple people because I do intuitive readings,
Mhm.
energy healing, and hypnosis. And since becoming certified in MMHA, hypnosis I utilize for every energy healing session. I just do breathing with the eyes.
Yes,
And
exactly.
people are having significantly better results. And then I'm silent during the time that I'm working on their energy.
Yeah.
I don't even say anything. And they're having wildly more benefit from.
Yeah. I mean, do you ever get intuitive reading clients that you then transform into coaching clients?
That's what I want. Because I have
So,
so many intuitive reading clients, but I'm thinking what you're saying. I'm having this idea and I've been having this feeling where I'm like, maybe I do. It's like an experience.
yeah.
Like they come to me and I do a little bit of all of it. And I just have them come in with like, what is your problem?
Hmm.
And this is how we're going to fix it. And this is how we're going to work through it. And a little bit of all of it, because the readings can give great information that they need to be aware of. And again, it is just a mirror. It's just a reflection of what's already going on in their internal world.
Yeah.
And energy healing and hypnosis can genuinely be done together. So
Yeah.
it's a really good point.
I think you're into like intuitive readings. Let me ask you a couple of questions. How much can you charge for that?
I'm charging 120 an hour right now.
Well, that's not a bad, like, that's not a bad way to get paid to have
Right.
a customer. So, so right now the customers pay you 120 bucks, and then do they ever come back?
Yeah. I have customers come back. Like I had a woman last week that I did a Reiki session. And so like most of the session was Reiki. And then the
Hmm.
second part of the session was an intuitive reading. She
Hmm.
booked that day for a second session yesterday and came back again for a
For
year.
more of the same kind of thing?
She did a year ahead reading. So it was like every month of the next 12 months, we looked at what she needs to know and how she can put her energy.
Oh, so okay, you're giving me some pieces here, and I imagine Timothy, he's probably trying to find a
I
document, so I don't know if he's
Yeah,
got
I
anything.
still can't find it.
Oh,
I
darn,
think it might
isn't
be
it?
on your account. Yeah.
It's in the Canva. I'm pretty sure it's in our Canva deck, but like
Yeah.
the one that we made for this. But okay, so Danielle, the thing that I want to also bring up are like the value staircase, because I think that would be a good slide to show. But if you can imagine a staircase with a few steps, right? The first step will be, how are they getting in touch with you? How are you exchanging contact information with the person? We'd typically call that like a lead magnet, but it could also be an inquiry form if they just filled out a form on your website, or if they handed you a business card at a networking event and said, "Yeah, I want to talk about this intuitive reading thing." And you've booked them, or a calendar booking, like anywhere where you're getting their contact information, that Oh, perfect. Okay. So the awareness is you're at a booth, right? And you start networking with someone. Now you're in the engagement phase. They're having a conversation with you. And let's say you give them some information. They book on your calendar, which is now subscription. So you have their contact information. And then they show up and buy an intuitive reading. That's the conversion stage. So they've given you $120 at this point. They're going to be excited. The excite phase is now you're doing the intuitive reading or the Reiki session or whatever, and they're going to have some sort of aha moment. Does that make sense, Danielle? They're going to be there like, oh, this is interesting. Something unlocked for them.
And they do every time.
Yeah.
I say pretty consistently, like not from an egoic state of point, but after doing this for 3 years, every client that I have a reading with leaves very much better than they were when they came in.
Right. So now, so the thing is, you want to take a $120 conversion event. I don't know why I'm like moving my mouse as if you can see it. Timothy's controlling it, but he's moving his mouse now. So if you can take that $120 conversion event, give them a great result in the excite phase is basically, in your case, it's happening live on the spot. They're getting like, oh my goodness, that's so cool. I never thought about it that way. Wow. That's an aha moment. That's the key thing that has to happen to be able to ascend them. And the ascension in your case might be, hey, I propose that we work together over a series of meetings, whether it be over the next year, whatever time period. I like your idea of, just doing these on a monthly basis or something. But what if you bundle together even more value? So instead of it only being an intuitive reading, it's more like a personal transformation journey where think of all the tools you have. You have what you're already doing. And then within the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy, you could do things like you could get the ball rolling with, let's say, a values I said values hallucination, values
Yes.
elicitation exercise. Imagine just that very first session is an interview around what do you want in life and what's important to you. And you spend 20 minutes just eliciting their values. And then you're doing, whatever work you want. So you can always do a reading with them and some sort of guided imagery hypnosis or mindscaping session or classical, whatever it is, whatever you want to do, you could put together stuff that seems a hell of a lot more valuable than $120 and actually
Totally.
turn like what happens if, 20% of those $120 buyers are willing to now spend maybe $3,000 on a package for the year. Now you have a business.
Mhm.
Oh, that is a fabulous.
So that's
So much.
like all we're doing, just so you guys are all aware, all Timothy and I are doing here is listening to what Danielle said and going, okay, where is she on this customer value journey? Where do the customers go? Where do they drop off? What else could we send them to? Um, and then
Mhm.
what are the frameworks? 'Cause we teach this all day long in the Pykthos Mastermind. We try to give you guys as much help as we can in these calls. But it's like if you know what the avatar is, you know what the transformation is that they're after generically, and you know what differentiates you, your own brand messaging blueprint, then it starts to become really, really easy to go, oh, okay, how can I turn this into an actual offer? How can I use AI to leverage the accelerate the creation of these offers, make it really easy for me to communicate with people. Now you have a customer, even if they only gave you $120, or maybe they never gave you any money, they didn't sign up for anything. You've got their contact information. You want to be
Mhm.
continually nurturing people. So whether they are already your best customers, whether they only bought one thing from you, whether they only gave you an email address, you want to have all the things you're already doing. Maybe you don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on so-called content creation, right? Because you're busy. So you just I don't know, once a week, you maybe just go on a voice recorder on your phone or whatever and just start ranting on what interesting things happened this week. Or every time you finish working with a client, you just spend 5 minutes going, hey, this is what happened. This is really cool, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that material becomes the seed for some of the AI tools that you've got built for yourself to go, okay, cool. Now it's going to tell me, hey, this is a YouTube video short that I should make. This is a social media post that I could put up on Instagram that would be useful for people, all while respecting client privacy, right? Because you're not going to share any client private information, but you could have a whole system of emails that you can send out to people, content that you can publish, ascension sequences that you can sell packages. I think you can make a hell of a lot more money if you do stuff like that.
This is so good. So this makes me feel very inspired to join the Pykthos Mastermind so I can continue to get this support.
Awesome.
So it's
Yeah,
like
that's what we do.
I genuinely, I know you're right because I feel it in my body that that is the next step and that that's where I need to go. And then I get so overwhelmed by like, oh my gosh, how do I do that?
Yeah, that's a hard one
That's
too.
right.
The whole
Yeah.
the overwhelm. Maybe Timothy, you want to speak to the overwhelm because we really often talk about it's like our friend Cossum said, just kick the ball down. Like imagine a
Yeah.
kid trying to get a soccer ball from one end of the soccer ball field to the other, and it's a big field for a little kid.
Yeah,
And all you do
that's
is
how it feels.
you just want him to
Yeah.
kick the ball one kick at a time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Overwhelms.
fine. Sorry about that. Will you guys support me in doing these steps, like getting from where I am now to where I go? Or is it more just like, is it calls like this where we engage, or what would I expect?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to answer that, Timothy? Or
Yeah, sure.
I've been
Yeah,
doing
I
so
can
much
do.
talking. I'll let my voice rest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We could. So, for anybody that is even remotely interested, Danielle, you obviously have questions, right? So, the mastermind, it's several mastermind members are actually here. Can you guys just give a quick wave if you're a mastermind member? Yeah, yeah,
Or leave your own
yeah. There
thoughts
you
in the
go.
chat too if
Yeah,
you
and you
guys
can
have
also
answers. Yeah.
yeah, you can also leave your own thoughts. Ultimately, though, we meet up every Wednesday, and then every other Friday we have a casual co-working day. So these calls, these Fridays are every other Friday as well. So it's casual co-working and then the strategy cafe,
Yeah.
right? So it's this nice combination. But on the mastermind calls, you not only just get us, you also get the, qualitative and quantitative genius of everybody in the mastermind. And we've got people that are like 6, 7 year copywriters, like Ty, who's incredible. We have people like Liesel. She's not here, but she is like a 15 plus year professional book editor and writer, and she knows all of that stuff. And they're always dropping in these hints and tidbits inside of the mastermind community itself. So it's a big discussion board. It's a private community. Hundreds of us are in there. Like what, 160 plus. We're growing.
Yeah. Well,
And we're
without,
massively going to
yeah,
grow.
I don't want it to turn, I don't want it to sound like we're trying to,
Like we're
sales
trying to
pitch.
turn to a
The
yeah.
here's just what I found and Timothy's found. The reason we started the mastermind is because we were in our own masterminds. Like we paid a lot of money to be in masterminds and travel and stuff. And it's like you just have these holy shit moments when you're talking to other smart people and you go, why didn't someone tell me that? And that's the value. So, but in terms of the structure, yeah, Wednesday calls, online community where so between calls and stuff, it's like, hey, there's hierarchies of if you're just trying to figure out what button to push on a platform, you can use the help chat bots and the documents. If you get stuck there, or you're asking more of a strategic question, you don't want to ask a chat bot on that. You want to be like posting in the forum and saying, okay, like this is where I'm at, this is where I'm stuck. What do you guys think? And we'll see those things. And then there's the real high touch stuff, which is like, okay, let's bring Danielle on for a hot seat because she's trying to package up her ascension offer and, just spend 20, 25 minutes deep diving on a Wednesday call on exactly what to do. That's basically the structure.
Cool. All right. I think I'm going to join.
All right. We'd
I
happy to have you.
realize that
Yeah.
support.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks,
Sales pitch
Danielle.
over. Thank you. We like
Yeah.
promise this will not be a sales pitch.
Yeah. I asked for the sales pitch.
Yeah.
So thank you. I appreciate it, you guys.
Oh, you're welcome.
All
I
right,
see.
Bradley.
What else we got? What else have we got, Timothy?
I'm waiting on Bradley to unmute.
Oh, Bradley. Okay, there we go. Yes, I do see Bradley's hand is up.
Okay. This is the first time I've been on a Friday. This is totally unsolicited from the guys. Uh, I've done various websites and various things for over a couple decades, and just a few months ago decided to come back on. This is for those of you thinking about joining Pykthos. And at the time, I was discussing with my wife, should I do this? I was going to do Square D and just do my own thing. And I've told her probably a couple times within the last month that if I hadn't have joined this mastermind, I would have already been dead in the water. I mean, and I know that
Oh
totally
man.
from everything that I've learned. So if you're thinking about it, absolutely. And for you, Danielle, my wife is also into Reiki and energy healing. She's done that online, on and off for years, and thinking of getting back in. And I'm telling her, you got to do it this way. This is the way to do it. So unsolicited, but
Thank you. Thank you very much. And what I really appreciate about Bradley is he takes action. We talked about social media stuff, and immediately he was in the community like, "Here's what I'm doing on YouTube," and yeah, you're doing great. You're doing some good stuff with YouTube, and yeah, put yourself out there. You got to be willing to put yourself out there, and Bradley's doing that. And thank you very much. I'm looking at the chat now. Catherine very kindly, highly recommended. The system works. What else have we got from you guys? Because we could fill time to talk about things we think are interesting, and that's always great. But I really love, and I know Timothy and I both love when these are more interactive, just like they have been. We talked a lot about AI flying English, flattening the leveling the playing field. We talked about AEO. We talked about different deep research things with AI. Um, we oh, Catherine's got something. I'll just finish my thought real quick. And one of the things that over the last week we've really started to recognize is if you don't yet have kind of like an ecosystem for your business work, like a business email address, a lot of people join Pykthos and then they go, oh, they're still operating on like a free Hotmail or Gmail, and that's really a bad idea for a multitude of reasons. But if you haven't yet created a business email address, I and Timothy think more and more Google is winning this war. Google has all of the tools lined up to integrate with each other. So without trying to scare you off about what's possible, I think this is going to be the year where just like you can talk to an AI and say, how do I make, chicken curry dish with the stuff that I have in my kitchen? And it tells you how to cook a dish. You could be able to like go to the Google infrastructure and basically say, hey, I've got, a situation where sometimes I get questions that come in on a particular topic. And every time I get a question that comes in, I know that that's a really important question. So I want you, Mr. AI, to send me a notification to my phone with a summary of the email so that I know it's there and can get back to it. Like, just you can start building little systems that Google has the capability to let you build where you're probably not going to get that from, well, you won't get that from OpenAI or from Claude or from like any of the other AIs that exist. Google is winning. They are doing amazing stuff. And so if you need to get into an ecosystem for business email and you're thinking business email, I would recommend Google simply because it'll open the door to a lot more cool stuff that you can do while already having a very good email experience because they're very good with email. Does that make sense? Catherine,
Hey,
hey.
I just got off a call with a friend earlier this afternoon who uses the same platform. I know it's not called Pykthos. And he
Yeah.
was telling me that there's like a version of ManyChat, which is also new to me.
Yeah.
He was basically telling me there's a way that I can set up automated responses to Instagram
Yes.
comments. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, and I'm going to turn this to Timothy because he's actually used it. It's yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's totally easy. Inside of the Pykthos platform, under the automation section, you would just set up a trigger, and there's two newer-ish triggers that they added like a while ago. One's for Facebook comments, and the other's for Instagram comments. But you have to have a business profile though, so it can't be your personal page.
Right.
It has to be a business level one. But what you do is you just set up the trigger so that when this specific post, and you can designate what post it is, you have to make sure on your profile, the social profile, that you actually post first.
Yeah.
Once you do, you can then go in and set the trigger to look at that post and only that post, or it'll comment on everything, and you don't want that. And so once you set it on
Okay.
just that one post, then you can set up the follow-up actions to be there's a couple different things you can do. The one that I like to do is you just have ChatGPT look at the comment and then it spits out a response. There's a little,
I'll screen share a blank workflow just so that you can
yeah.
talk through if you want, Timothy, and we can actually show it. So
Yeah.
let's say I don't know what the trigger would be. Triggers are what start automations. So the trigger in this case would be like a response to a Instagram
No,
post.
yeah, that would be like you just type in either Instagram or Facebook.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, probably I don't know why. Maybe we don't have these. We don't have, oh, because I didn't connect to
Oh,
Facebook. Okay. So
yeah,
imagine
or
this
yeah,
is a demo account, Catherine. So there is no Facebook or Instagram connected. That's the
Sure.
prerequisite is you would go ahead and you would like connect your actual property. And then I'd be able to select the trigger, let's say. And then you'd program it the way Timothy described. And then what's next?
so once you set the trigger up, you need to actually add in what the content of the comment is. And so you
Hmm.
have to make a custom field for that. So I have inside settings custom fields in the platform. You
Mhm.
can just set it to whatever. And I just I named it like background comment because if you just try to have ChatGPT read the comment, it can't because it's external to the platform. So
Could
you
we
have to,
could you
yeah.
simplify it a little bit more, Timothy? So let's say you didn't want to use OpenAI's tools yet. All you wanted to do is if somebody commented, let's say a keyword like report, that it would
Right.
reply back and go, "Hey, thanks for requesting the report. Here's the link." Is that maybe an easier starting point?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing
Yeah.
I'd want.
Yeah, that's what. So it's been a while because I just have it up and running. So
Yeah.
let me find it.
Here, actually, there you go. So let's say the trigger was that the person like left a Instagram comment or something. The response is going to be a DM, let's say. And so you would be able to just like program in the message that you wanted to go out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I'll stop the screen share because there's really nothing useful to look at because we don't have it configured in the demo account.
Yeah, I've
But
got it though. Here we
oh,
go.
oh, you got it. Okay, cool. Because what's amazing is that there's an enormous possibility. You could do it really straight and simple, which is the way I explain it. It's like, okay, somebody comments on your post, report. And so when that's detected, fire back a DM that says, "Hey, name, thanks for requesting my report. Here's the link." And it's done. Or what Timothy's doing is really freaking cool because it gets a little bit more organic. Now, I'll let you walk through the rest of it, Timothy, here.
Yeah. Well, regardless of whatever way you want to do it, you still have to have it push the
Update the field.
information, push the information to the Facebook field or I'm sorry, the custom field in the back end. So all you do is settings, custom fields, just create a brand new field that's text based, and then just call it like back end Facebook comment. And that's all you have to do, right? So what this is doing, Catherine, is whenever someone comments, it's going to hold that information and then it's going to add it into GoHighLevel, but as a field on their contact record. From there, if you don't want to use any of the OpenAI stuff, all you have to do, ignore the condition, and instead you would just make this one called respond on comment. And that is a very specific action. So I can click here and I can click comment, and you see under communication, it's reply and comments, right? And so what you can then do is you can set up multiple ways that it'll reply. So I just have like, hey, first name, and it'll populate their name. Thanks so much for requesting my free report. Go here to get it. And it's just the direct link to where they can get my
Mhm.
opt-in. And I have just different ways of saying the same thing. And then you can even set it so it likes their comment. So now you're getting double engagement. What's really cool about this is that's the easy way to respond. But then let's say, because there's going to be people who comment other things besides give me the report. And that still requires you to go in and make the comments yourself. Or this is where ChatGPT comes in. So basically, if the backend comment, you see how I set up this conditional logic is if
Hmm.
the information in this field contains any of the words, and this is the word that I would use in my post, like say the word clients and I'll send you the free report. So I have GPT, or I'm sorry, I have the workflow reading if it has any variation of these words, client with an exclamation mark or whatever. If it does, they get this automated reply. If not, it pushes that information into ChatGPT, and then I have a prompt that's basically saying, "You're me." If they said this, then they want the free report. But if not, I need you to essentially talk with them. Explain that, hey, there's no skepticism here, there's no confusion, because that's a lot of people are going to say, oh, this is fake, oh, this isn't real, you're a scammer. So have the AI read, oh, they're probably just confused or they don't understand what the offer is. And so it talks to them and it'll reply to every comment. So now it looks like you going back and forth. Eventually, though, it's, by the way, you should check out my free report. So there's it still pitches my free report to them. And so that's how I've got this set up. So either they get the report from an immediate comment over here, or if not, ChatGPT reads their intent and then replies as though it's me, but still ultimately, after a couple of comments, delivers the report link to them.
So you have your opportunities here. I guess that's the main message is that the tools are totally there. I would dip your toes in the water. Now, if you want any help, you're one of our mastermind members, of course. If you need any
Yeah.
help with
I
this and you have like a
I can
simple
just
use case,
give you I
yeah,
can give you this workflow and then you can edit it to your heart's content.
yeah, just let us know what you're trying to do with it,
Mm.
and we can help you tailor it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the
Cool.
benefits that our Pykthos Mastermind
Thank you.
members get is we share our assets. So
Yeah.
if there's a lead magnet or anything, a workflow that works really well, guess what? You would get it.
Yeah, if any of you guys are in the mastermind now and you're like, I see this, I'd like to have something like that built, just help describe it. And if it's useful to the community, we will build it or have someone on our team build it and like publish it for you all to use. That's the point of all of us using the same tools. Like you don't have to use these tools, guys. So if you never join our mastermind or whatever, hopefully you get some value out of these conversations. But it is useful to find other people who are using and knowledgeable in the tools that you choose to use so that you're not figuring it all on your own. I can tell you I mean, I'm a tech geek and so is Timothy, so we'll figure this stuff out. But I know from deep experience, let's say using a platform like Kajabi, and I'm not knocking them in any way. I love Kajabi, what it's done for us over the years, but like how many people do I know that will sign up for it and go, okay, what do I do? And what do I do is one thing. How do I make a form? How do I publish a page? Those are kind of easy things, and the support teams can always answer, how do you push the button to get this thing done? But you know what they can't do for you? They can't help you strategize and say, hey, I'm a coach. I'm offering this kind of service. What's the right kind of strategy? And so when you're all in the same kinds of people helping business and you all follow the same kinds of processes around like growth system methodologies and creating customer avatars and mapping out like what we did with Danielle, the mapping out of how would you create an offer, and then you blend it in with like, okay, now how do you actually do this with the tools? There's magic in that, right? So no matter what, just remember it's a lot more than tools. You need to understand entrepreneurship, like how to grow a business, how to run a business, processes. You need to kind of geek out on the tools. And if you don't geek out on the tools, you got to find people who can or that you can brainstorm with. And that's why we created the mastermind. But if you don't join ours, just make sure you have people you can work with. It's really
Yeah.
important that you're not alone.
Yeah, I think everybody hates working alone. Like, I mean,
It sucks.
yeah, I mean, that was pretty much one of the reasons why you and Mike started business because you had your own business and you were like, I freaking hate doing this on my own.
Yeah, I mean, how many of you guys already have at least like a few friends that you can chit chat with and say like, hey, this is what I'm doing in my work, and we, talk to each other and share ideas. And I mean more than just let's say going to HypnoThoughts Live once a year and maybe talking, or in Catherine's case, like coming to Toronto a couple times a year, and we get to talk with you in person, right? But how many of you don't have someone to just bounce ideas off of and discuss strategies? Yeah, so find a way to get that problem solved because it's lonely to do it on your own. And everybody will say, "Oh yeah, we got 24-hour customer support." Yeah, it's great if you're just asking a basic question like, "How do I make this button blue?" or something, but it's not going to help you like strategically, right? You want to be able to, and at least you have us. At least you have this. Every 2 weeks, you can come in, talk to us. You don't have to pay us a penny. But to go further, like find people you can work with and connect with and brainstorm with and like follow similar stuff. I mean, even if it's something as simple as, hey, let's both go out and buy a copy of Alex Hormozy's books, $100 million Leads. And because I think that was his first book. No, $100 million Offers was his first book. We're going to buy this book and we're going to read it together and we're going to hop on Zoom and we're going to think about like, how can we implement what he taught in this book together? That would be incredibly useful versus not doing that, let's say. That's my advice.
Yeah. Did that help you, Catherine? Yep. Good. Awesome. Wonderful.
Does my voice sound as bad as I think it does?
All right. So Daniel says, in talking it over with people who aren't entrepreneurs don't tend to get it. They
Yeah.
don't understand the technical parts of business, but even more, they don't really understand the psychology or challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I know working alone was never that much fun. I mean, working with you, of course, Timothy and Pykthos, really enjoyable all the time. We laugh all the time. Working with Mike in Mike Mandel Hypnosis, having a best friend there to work with makes it incredibly fun. And if I was doing a business that didn't have a partner, I would absolutely want to at least have a group of people that I could be
Hmm.
chatting with. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. It's just so much more fun to be around other people and share like that. It's Tony Robbins, right? It's that six human needs model all over again. It's the need to have connection. And yes,
Hmm.
it will hopefully it'll also make you more money because by connecting with like-minded people and sharing ideas, and that's what, that's why we go to masterminds. It's like, even if it never made us more money, it would still be worth it to me just because I'd be like, oh, these are my people. These are my friends. They get me. It's useful, but it tends to actually feed profit too because you will get smarter about how you work. So like Catherine, like whoever you talk to that showed you, it's like, oh, you could do this many chat like thing. If you hadn't talked to someone who kind of got your space, you wouldn't know that, right? Yeah. All right. What else have we got here? So we're
So
coming up on 12 o'clock, so we can go a little longer if we got topics. Timothy,
Lauren says in the chat, speaking of not being alone, is there's a new hypno conference in LA. Is it on anyone's radar? I
I
didn't
didn't
know
even
that.
know about that. That's news
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. 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 It's interesting. I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Daniel. You made that I used the word solitude earlier and I really meant isolation. Yeah. There's a difference between, yeah, solitude, like, choosing to go be on your own and, meditate or go for a walk in the park and think, but then go back to life versus being sort of forced into isolation, forced by someone else or through your own, bad
Mhm.
decisions.
Yeah.
And I think someone else earlier in the chat said there's a reason that solitary confinement is considered like one of the worst punishments of all time. So don't put yourself in solitary confinement, guys. And thankfully, if you
Yeah.
have been, if these strategy cafes are getting you out of solitary confinement, like give us a wave. And I'm just glad that we were able to do these for you. Yeah, that's
Good. Good.
awesome.
Good. Awesome. All right. Any other thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, observations?
I'm
No?
just thinking about any other like nuggets from last week that came up that we
Yeah.
want to share on because we
Yeah, we got Matt here.
oh, go for it then. All right.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I just wanted to just back up what we were saying earlier on about using AI. I hadn't used the talking to ChatGPT, so while we're doing this, I thought I'll give it a go. Let's see what Fritz Thompson's on about, and
Thank you for that.
and it was yeah, it was mega. So I've actually kind of totally re-niche my website, and then while I was on Pykthos looking at the website, I thought, "How much try the little AI thing?" And I said, "Hey, I want this one of these columns. Can you just? I want to tweak this column." And he went and did it for me, and then said, "Do you like this?" And then I tweaked it again. I didn't have to type anything; it just did it all for me. So,
Yeah.
um, and
That's awesome.
so I am one of these. I'm not a self-professed geek. I'm kind of IT phobic, so I found that quite useful. And what I'm going to do is with on the Pykthos, you've got the Ask AI because it's prompting me. It's going, "Hey, do you want to try these funnel things?" And because that's one thing I'm still mystified and I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with that. So if I was to jump on there and go, "All right, yeah, let's play funnels," and literally just ask it some silly questions like a complete doofus entry level, you know, Luddite, it's going to help me kind of come up with because I've got to do paid ads. I've got to do, the week I've had, I've got to really
Yeah.
smash into this business and get this side also moving. So yeah, so I just wanted to know if I was to use the Ask AI function on Pykthos and go right, brainstorm and make shit happen. Pardon my French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Using and especially if you say to the AI stuff like, I really am a total beginner at this and don't have any clue on how to do funnels and stuff like that. So please help me from the very beginning and assume I'm a, newbie. And it will change the language to make it easier for you all. Yeah. It's really
Yeah.
useful. What was we were just doing? Oh, Timothy, I was just thinking about talking about how, so I mentioned how I think Google is winning this war. And so Timothy and I've started to notice within our own mastermind that most people are shifting over to using Google Gemini. That's Google's platform. It's called Gemini. And you all probably have heard the term custom GPTs by OpenAI. ChatGPT custom GPTs. Well, their equivalent in Google land is called a Gemini Gem, GEM. Um, and so we've started messing around with these. The cool thing is, so you could make like, we want to make the experience for Pykthos mastermind members easier. And we're looking at designing a custom gem that would walk you through, it would ask you a bunch of questions like, do you already have a website? Yes or no. Or do you own a domain? Yes, I own. Okay. Is it pointing anywhere? And, or you would answer that. And maybe you'd say, I don't even know what that means. It would go, okay. And it would remember that person probably doesn't know what DNS means then. And it would ask you all these questions like, do you know who your client avatar is? Have you gone through that exercise? Yeah, I've done that before. Okay, I'm good on that. Do you have a journey that takes people from like opting into something to an actual sales process? Do you have a flow? Do you have a mapped out? Do you know how you like the things we worked on with Danielle? And at the end, it would spit out, okay, so based on what you told me, here are all the things that you'd probably want to go through. And it could even give hyperlinks to the exact assets inside of the Pykthos membership area. Let's say the community is like, well, this is the growth system. It sounds like you need to start here at week 1, which is gathering your asset library. Here's a direct link to it. This is a meaningful blog post about the value of long-term nurture sequences in email. And since you have an email address, but you said you don't send email to the list, you should go read this. And it would put like a checklist together for you with clickable links. And then, it lives in chat. So how is that useful? Well, with Gemini, you can click a button that says export to Google Docs. So if you were interacting with this thing, and I tell you this, you guys could all build the same thing if you wanted to, like with your own clients. Imagine your client being able to go through that process and then click export to Google Docs. And now they have their own Google Doc in their own Google account with clickable links. That's like a checklist of the stuff they need to do. That'd be pretty useful, wouldn't it? So that's one of the things we're messing around with.
Awesome.
Daniel, this guy's hand up.
Yeah.
Hey guys, quick question for you. As you're talking about Gemini and ChatGPT, I find myself in this little spot, and I was wondering if you guys had some insight on this. So I've been working with ChatGPT on a free tier account for years, at least 1 year, maybe two, however long it's been around. And as of a couple of months ago, I now have access to paid tier Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
But I find myself not going to Gemini because when I go to ChatGPT and I say, help me come up with 10 hooks for articles, it's already pulling from all of these conversations we've had about niching and about ideal audience and about the type of work that I do and about my background and everything else like that. But when I go to Gemini, it's not informed by any of that history.
Yeah, you're more of a
So I'm
stranger.
avoiding it.
Yeah.
Is there a way for me to kind of pull that all out of GPT and dump it into Gemini in a way to kind of catch it up and get it up to speed?
Well, that'd be, what do you, I've got some ideas, but go ahead, Timothy.
I would just ask the GPT to give you all the information that it has on you. The same way that I had like the fun prompt of, hey, review my entire chat conversation and give me an image of what you think I look like, right?
Yeah.
You could just do the same thing, which is scrape my entire chat conversation and then just like give me everything that I would need to give another AI context of everything we've worked on so we can continue.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning into that. I mean, if you have a problem, why not just throw it at the AI? But I wasn't sure if you guys had seen anything else that might help with that process. So.
I think I was going to answer the same as Timothy, but I could tell he was chomping at the bit to say that. So, but it's great. It's a great example of where we see eye to eye on that. I think it's really either use, like you're a stranger to Gemini and you're not a stranger to ChatGPT because you've been using it, right? So you either say, hey, dump the knowledge base so that I can give it to my new friend here, or you just spend more time with the new friend and eventually it gets built. That's really all you can do.
Yeah. Well, I'll see if I can take the head start with an export.
I'm going to do a
And
live experiment here. Let's see what happens. Okay. So again, using the voice mode that we were talking about earlier, that John, I know John lit up, was like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to try that. Okay. So, hey, chat. I know that we're friends and we've been in a relationship for a number of years now, but I kind of don't want to be exclusive anymore. And I'm thinking I want to make new friends with Gemini, and I need you to help me teach it all about myself. So, can you take everything that you consider relevant from all of our various conversations and dump it into a big data set for me in whatever way is most obviously useful to Gemini so that I can train Gemini to know me as well as you do? I'll see what that gives me. So we'll keep talking for a bit and then I'll just see what happens. I'll let you guys know when we get a result, but that's probably something I would suggest trying
yeah,
out. What do you
yeah,
think,
that makes
Timothy?
sense. But it was just kind of comical because I found myself avoiding using the paid tier product simply because the free tier product has more history with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and if we were to look at, from like a business perspective, just in terms of finances and everything, OpenAI, unless they get their financial issues together, they're probably going to be out by like 2027, I think is the report that I read, because
Mm.
they don't have the revenue and their expenses. It's like really wonky. So they'd have to figure that out. Now, what that means is that doesn't mean ChatGPT is going to go away. That means that there's probably going to be a company out there who's going to end up buying it up, where we're looking at either Microsoft or even Elon Musk has talked about um, getting some type of share out of it too. So we don't know. But what I have found is that using all of the various tools, and I've used all of them, it really just comes down to how you're prompting it. If you're looking for something that's going to be around in the longevity, Google's probably going to win, like what Chris said. ChatGPT, not entirely sure. But then there's companies like Anthropic, like Claude is great. Claude's
Yeah.
amazing for writing. It's also, Chris, would you say that Claude probably understands things better in terms of if you
Yeah.
give it something, it's much better at understanding the context of what's happening.
I don't know what it is, but like Claude does a better job writing and analyzing information too. I'll give you guys a quick example. Like whenever we finish these Zoom calls, whether it be this Friday strategy cafe or our Wednesday mastermind calls, we publish the replays for all the mastermind members, then we send out a summary, and I dump it into Claude with a specific prompt, and ChatGPT hallucinates and skips the transcript details, or if we say make time code links, it's BS. They're all wrong, and I give it to Claude, and it's just correct, and
Mm.
actually reads the whole transcript, and I find it to be. Oh, I remember Jordan in our mastermind. Remember Jordan, Timothy? He was the one that said, "Start using Claude for writing. You're going to find it does a
Yeah.
better job of writing than ChatGPT." Now it depends on the prompting, but just out of the box kind of thing, Claude is a far superior writer. So what I will do is use those, like if we want to come up with blog posts on the back of a mastermind meeting or one of these meetings and say, okay, what's a great way to create some blog content? I'll take the transcript, throw it through any AI and say, hey, give me a bunch of possible blog post ideas. And then I'll press the microphone button on my phone and talk like all the details of what I consider to be highly relevant to the blog post, and then have Claude write it for me. And it's just incredible.
Okay. That's actually really interesting because I was wondering about taking there was a podcast that I listened to with Donald Miller from StoryBrand
Yeah.
about creating the 5 sound bites for your business. And I had the idea, could I take the transcript for that podcast, feed
Yes.
it into an AI, and then it would kind of have that context to be able to help me to create the sound bites for my own
Oh, yeah.
approach. And it
Yeah.
sounds like Claude might be a much better option for that.
It's worth trying, and you can use the free version of Claude on a limited basis anyway. So just for a simple
Yeah.
thing like that. Plus, you could go to Story. You can get all kinds of stuff about StoryBrand from Donald Miller. whether it be the transcript, whether it be a PDF that you find on his website or just his website itself describing the process or the book. I mean, I bet you something like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini probably already knows the whole framework from the
Yeah.
StoryBrand book. And you could just say like, hey, here's my ideal customer avatar, my brand messaging blueprint. Could you give me StoryBrand style output based on this? And it would already know what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Their new, he's been talking a lot about 5 sound bites lately. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've come across that or not, but it's really quite good where he takes, and it's basically walking the person through from stranger to friend, as you
Mhm.
guys describe, and having these short little sound bites, like a sound bite for each part of that process. They worked with an accounting software, and their initial sound bite is, "We help people get good with money." Like that's it.
Yeah.
And that
Easy to
lands
understand.
for anybody for whom that's relevant. That's just easy. It's repeatable. It lands. So it's an interesting framework to take a look at.
I
So
like it. Thanks for reminding me
Yeah.
because I know you posted that in the community and I said, I'm going to listen to that podcast and I didn't listen to it yet. So I want to do that.
yeah, enjoy.
Thank you.
I eager to hear your thoughts about it.
Okay.
All right.
Super cool.
Thanks a lot, guys.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
You got anything there, Timothy?
No, that's great. I see
All right.
Bradley's got his hand up right now.
Yeah, and just while we're waiting for Bradley to come online, I see Valerie's asked, how do you compare Claude to Gemini? I'm just starting to get deeper into Gemini, so I will let you guys know next time that we do this. I'll get Gemini to do some writing specifically, and I'll compare it to what I think about Claude, and I'll let you know. I think they're both probably pretty good, but seems Claude is the better writer overall.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, my
Brad,
comment was
Bradley.
specifically for what you're asking about, Daniel. I talked about this on the Mastermind Wednesday, I think, but what I've ended up doing with chat is I've developed several other chats for myself as well, but I have one specific for YouTube, one specific for emails, one for meetups, one for Reddit. Now, what they all have in common in my original Chat GPT that I used for YouTube, I had all of my volumes, all the YouTube videos. I did 1 through 10. It has all the dialogue, it has all the tags, it has all of the description. And you can lock that into a canvas that can no longer be touched and download that. And then I have one for my thumbnail Bibles, my color, et cetera, et cetera. So you have these multiple downloaded documents that you can take to another GPT, load those, and at the same time have chat create a prompt that's going to take advantage of all those and tell Gemini or whatever it has to use this, it has to lock in, it can't vary from this, and then what are its suggestions, going forward, whatever it is that you're doing. Because I understand that sort of the first time I shut down and moved to a second chat or a second volume per se, at first I was like, oh yeah, it feels like I've been talking to this guy for a while, man. He knows my shit. So I get it. But if you have it all documented, then you just load it in and it's a smooth transition with a prompt.
Appreciate that.
perfect.
Thank
All right. Did I? I'm just trying to figure out if I muted myself. Somebody talk.
Yeah. No.
Okay, good. I
Hello.
thought it was suddenly silent. I thought, did I just press the wrong button? Okay, I'm good. Well, that's awesome. I mean, we can wrap it up here if there's nothing else, but if there is, we'll take it. Otherwise, I love this. These are a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. And if you have any other questions at all, feel free to reach out, team@pykthos.com. And if you're interested in joining the mastermind, not a sales pitch, but we would love to have you.
Yeah,
It's
let us know.
Pykthos. Yeah, Pykthos.com. That's pykthos.com/mastermind.
All right. So let's end it in our usual fashion, and we'll say thanks once again,
Once again.
and
And
good
good
you. Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Good night.